Hello, I'm Ryan Sage with the Sioux Falls City Attorney's Office. We're here today with Compassionate Sioux Falls. We are an initiative that recognizes organizations, business, or individuals in our community that encourages citizens to act in a more compassionate manner. With us today is Janet Kiddams-Lowley from the Helpline Center. Janet, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about the Helpline Center. What is the broad picture of the mission statement of the Helpline Center?
Sure, we help so many different people, but our mission statement is, offering support, giving hope, and creating connections all day, every day. We're there 24 hours a day.
Now, the program I was the most familiar with was the suicide or crisis prevention and training and helpline. What other services do you guys offer?
Absolutely. Probably the most well-known program we have is our 211 phone number. 3 easy phone numbers to remember to call anytime if you need information or resources about community organizations, government services, or you just need somebody to talk to.
The 211 number, when can you call that number?
Anytime. We have staff 24 hours a day at our office, so whether that's at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon that you need assistance, we have a live person willing to visit with you.
And who is able to call that 211 number?
It's open to anybody. In fact, when we did our statistics this past year, we had people the ages of 9 all the way up to 89 who called us.
That's great. You guys also offer, I guess, child care information or child care facilitation. What exactly do you do with regards to child care? Is it with the child or the parent?
Sure. We have a lot of parents in Sioux Falls who have young children and they need to find child care for those children. So we ask them to call 211 and they speak with our child care specialist. And we have like a database of all the child care providers in our community. So we'll do an intake with that parent, ask them some questions like what ages are their children, what side of town do they need to find that care, what days of the week, so on and so forth. And we complete that intake, put that in our database and find the daycare providers that have openings in the areas that that parent needs. And then we'll spend some time talking with that parent about looking for quality childcare. When they go in and interview that provider, what kinds of questions should they ask? What should they look for to make sure they feel confident when they leave that child in the care of that provider that they're getting the care that they need?
Now, I know there's some concern with parents that they want to know that their facility is licensed and with the state and proper training. Do you check those to make sure that they meet the minimum requirements?
Absolutely. We'll certainly explain that to the parent when they're looking for that. If they need daycare that's registered with the state of South Dakota, we can certainly identify that. And of course, there's a city ordinance that all the providers within the city limits of Sioux Falls need to be registered with the city health department, and we certainly provide that information.
The next program I would like to discuss is the one I was familiar with, is the suicide or crisis training and prevention. What service do you guys offer with regards to those people in need?
Absolutely. That is also through our call center. We answer a 1-800 number that's available nationwide, but within the state of South Dakota, we are the only certified suicide crisis center, so that we answer that 24 hours a day. That would be for a person who is in need themselves. They may be having thoughts of suicide. And it could be also for the parent or the family member who's worried about somebody. We get many phone calls every day that I'm concerned about my son, my daughter, my husband, my wife. I think they're struggling, having thoughts of suicide, and I don't know how to help them. And so we'll be there for those folks.
If somebody wants to call and make contact with you about a crisis situation, how do they do that?
Sure. In Sioux Falls, they can easily dial 211 or they can dial our 1-800 number. 1-800-273-TALK is our phone number to reach us, and that's the suicide crisis line.
Now, the 211 number also provides information for community resources. Tell me about your staff. If you call in, how are they able to handle each individual call?
Sure. We get some basic information from our callers when they first call us on 211, and one of those questions is what their zip code is. And it's important for us to know their zip code because oftentimes services are provided in different parts of our community, and we want to make sure they're eligible for those services. And then we just have a conversation with folks and ask them what their needs are, what they're struggling with. And people call us with all kinds of needs. Sometimes it's as simple as finding a support group. They need to find a support group for depression, so we'll connect them with that information. Sometimes it's much more complex. They need to find some utility assistance because their electricity may be about to be shut off. But we also talk with them then about the other needs within their family. Maybe they also need resources for food, so we'll connect them to some of those programs too.
We've seen a lot of national media attention and local media attention about our military personnel and the assistance they need, whether it's before deployment or when they return. Do you guys offer any help to our military families?
Sure, absolutely. We also market our 211 phone number as the Courage to Call phone number, and that would be for any veteran or military member or their families who needs to call and just find out about resources, or they need to talk with somebody, they need some additional support. And so those questions are oftentimes very specific about resources that they're eligible for, and we have that information in our database. And sometimes it's a lot of mental health kinds of questions. Oftentimes when somebody returns from service, they may be suffering from anxiety or depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. And we want to make sure that they get connected to the resources they need to recover from that.
Janet, if someone's interested in volunteering with your organization, how do they go about doing that?
Sure, they can contact us by dialing 211. You can actually text us too. If you text your zip code to 898-211, we'll have a text conversation with you. And then we're always available at our website, helplinescenter.org.
Janet, thank you for being here today.
Sure.
If you're interested in learning more about Compassionate Sioux Falls, you can contact us at siouxfalls.org/compassion or call 367-8745.